Hey guys, welcome to Puff Online. My name is Matt. I'm a programmer for Puff. Tonight we have Ron Williams, writer, director, producer of The Contestant, fantastic short film that just screened in our locals block. Ron, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing great.
Fantastic. Um, so we have a bunch of questions lined up for you, and then we'll also hopefully take some from the audience. So we have a number of participants. So Ron, you're from Wilkes-Barre, is that correct?
Yes.
Cool. So I have family in Dallas, so I'm very familiar with the area.
Okay.
And I wanted to ask, uh, where exactly did you shoot the film? Like, what kind of building was that? Is Carl Hall a real place?
Yeah, Carl Hall is a real place. It's a relatively new. I think they've only been there a couple of years. It's like a new like music venue. One of the only few remaining, actually. A lot of those places have kind of closed down, and now who knows what's going on. But Carl Hall's, it's there, it's new, it's going strong.
Cool.
And they were really super helpful.
Awesome. One of the things I really wanted to talk about was the costume choice for the film. And it's just like everybody in this red uniform of red t-shirts. And in the very beginning, it's like if you blink, you can miss it. But there's two people outside, I guess what Carl Hall is, holding two t-shirts. And so I'm just wondering, where did this motif come from? And what does it have to do with the story?
Well, the I guess it's one of, I mean, they're waiting for their chance to audition. And I guess it's almost like I guess I would say it's almost like an idea of like a you worship at the idea of like getting your chance to perform, so you'll kind of go through anything. So they're kind of like I don't know, sacrificing themselves for the stage or something like that.
Mm-hmm. And then at the very beginning, you use a really starkly defined depth of field when Arthur is first on stage, and you can't really see the audience until you find out that he's about to get lit on fire. So wasn't exactly sure to put that. So did you? What was your choice to use? That kind of aperture.
I mean, there's I think it looks good. I think the fact that I mean, there's the practical aspect of we're shooting in lower light and we need it to open it up to, be able to shoot. I don't know. I think it gave it kind of a faceless crowd effect that, added to it.
Cool.
Makes it a little bit funny when you see that it's just kind of like these people in the crowd that are just guys.
Yeah, I agree. So now I want to talk about just the overarching theme of the contestant. When Robert is given a chance to leave in the film, and he does not take it. So I feel like, is this supposed to be some sort of like a metaphor, or am I right, or am I reaching with this?
No, I think you're right. I think that, I mean, the general concept is like the silliness of like competitive creative things, where the film was made as part of like a mystery box competition, and it's kind of like this idea, like it's kind of one of those things where it's like you're competing in a creative field, and it's kind of absurd, but you're so passionate about the things that you do that you are willing to either embarrass yourself or, devote your life to it, whether or not you get lit on fire because some guy doesn't like it. You're still willing to take that chance. So
yeah. And to that end, the only reason that Jamie, with his impeccable dance moves, is able to pass is because the judge is distracted.
Yeah.
So what is that like? How does that feed into what we were just talking about?
Well, I mean, you ever see? I mean, anytime you watch an award show, you watch like whatever, whether it's the Oscars or just like somebody who wins in a local festival kind of thing, and you're just like, how did that win?
Mm-hmm.
How did like you look at things as like you're so judgmental about them, and I don't know, you just kind of look at something, you're like, how did that guy pull it off? But then it's
Mm-hmm.
like, well, there was the guy with the suit who was over there talking to him, so he must have
Right.
tracks. There's always that just kind of.
Mm-hmm. And then Daniel is shuffled off stage real quick before he's even able to beat his drum. What's that about?
I kind of thought that, how well, I mean, it was kind of a social commentary in that he's the only black guy there, and he's in the room, but he's not really given a chance. So I
See.
kind of thought that was there, and I didn't want to like draw too much to it. If you
Mm-hmm.
see it, then you notice it. If you don't, then I mean,
No,
that's just
definitely.
how it is. Where you
Yeah, it
don't
was very
notice.
subtle. But now that you pointed it out, I can definitely appreciate it. Um, do we have anybody in the audience who wants to ask a question about the contestant? Alex, do you want to jump in? Oh, we actually have one in the Q&A.
Oh, there we go.
Maria, fantastic. So tell us about the actors.
About the actors.
She says they were very fascinating.
They are fascinating. Well, I mean, I guess I can run through the list. Robert, and James. Three of us have been making short films for the last decade now, and they're great. They're up for whatever stupid idea I throw at them. I gave James the instruction of your guy does a herky jerky dance, and he came up with those masterful performance that none of us saw it until the day. And to try to shoot that when you don't know what he's about to do, and he just starts doing that without losing it and dropping the camera to laugh is a bit of a challenge. But he was great. Robbie's always fantastic. Dan was actually a professor of mine, and he was up for it as well. And he actually was a great help because he served as like the script supervisor and kept track of all the shots and everything. And he kind of helped me. We shot this in an afternoon in a couple of hours, and
Really?
really helped me to keep everything in line. Dane and Carl they're actually local actors. I used to work with Dane, and he directed me towards Carl, and those guys were great. They're just pros. You can just give them anything, and they just run with it. Alex and Nate also do a lot of local in the Wilkes-Barre area. Nate's a voice actor. I only gave him one line, but he's a great voice actor. But they were all great, and everybody was, I don't know, and Eric, the guy in the suit, and Jason, the judge. This was both their first times being on camera. And I mean, everybody just kind of was cool, and they were up for being, whatever, wearing red sweatsuits and embarrassing themselves for a few hours. It was a good time.
So can I ask who, if any of you, drew and composed that ridiculous juggling book that was so well done?
Yeah, my friend Anthony Kudrow, he actually did that for me. I gave him a composition notebook and said, we have to do 3 balls of juggling and make sure you focus on 3 balls. And Anthony just made a real work of art.
Yeah, no, he certainly did. That was very good. Let's go back to the Q&A. We got one more. Any relevance to the Star Wars box at all?
I have that box on my shelf. My fiance does decoupage stuff on cigar boxes.
Oh,
I used to work at a cigar shop, so she would take old comics and decoupage the boxes. So I had a Star Wars on the side. It was just a nice box.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Let's see. Got one more. Maria says she would love to see a sequel of this. The tone was cool. It felt like the afterworld in Beetlejuice. The tone and color palette was cool.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely works if you watch it in like the afterworld of Beetlejuice. That's pretty much that like dreamish kind of, nothing actually has to add up perfectly. But
do you see there? Oh, I'm sorry. Do you see there being a possible sequel or sister film to this?
Probably not, but maybe it'd be something to expand into something longer. I don't know.
Yeah,
I would think about it like that, but
yeah,
maybe.
I'd absolutely love to see something like this, but in a longer format. I didn't want it to end when it ended. To be honest with you.
Well, for a short film, if you want more and it's not, you're not checking your watch by the time the 7-minute mark hits, then I think I'll take that as a compliment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's check the box. Alex, do you have anything to?
No, I was saying I told Matt I'd help him if he got stuck, and then I realized I haven't seen the Contestant. But did you mention it was part of one of those like filmmaking, those competitions? So what can you what are the rules of that? Is it like one of those like where they give you like a theme and an object or something like that?
Yeah, it was part of the Mystery Box Film Challenge, which was a sub thing of the Northeast PA Film Festival this year. And they give you a box. You get a cardboard box, and in it we had a wooden spoon, a necklace, a hat, and the instruction that somebody loses something. And that was it. My original story, which was total garbage, involved a guy losing his dog, and I threw that away.
How long do you have to film it?
It's actually they do a really good job of giving you enough time that you can a lot of those contests are like, all right, you got 24 hours or you have 48 hours.
Yeah.
They actually give you 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's a good writing prompt. It's like a good starter thing. I think that they just kind of want you to be creative and they're not worried about oh, you did it, you made it done, you made something that's garbage, but you got something done. They're like, let's make an actual something that you might like. So
was there a limitation on budget, like a max budget or so somebody rich could come in and make it a how about the time, how long did the film have to be, what was the max amount of time?
I think it was minimum was 5 minutes, maximum was 10, something like that. There was no budget restraints. I'm sure if somebody were to come in there with try to James Cameron it, they'd be more than excited to see.
Yeah. That doesn't seem fair though. I feel like there should be a cap on the budget.
Come see 8 minutes of Avatar.
Were you the one I was talking to in the Discord earlier that those tickets got wiped out?
Yeah.
Well, thank you for
Thank you.
it.
Thank
Sorry.
you for straightening it out.
Yeah, it was quite a nightmare. We had a really good first day, and so I should have known that, you know. So like this morning, I was like, not even paid attention really. Like, oh, it's gonna skate by.
Yeah, 2020 is gonna get you in some way.
It sure did.
Has to apply to this film festival in some way.
There's another question in the Q&A, Matt.
Let's check it.
That's a good question.
That is a good question. Did everyone get the same box?
Yes. Yeah, everybody got the same box.
What was some of the other like was there a winner of the competition?
There was. There was a winner, a film called The Restaurant. It was kind of like a spy film, like a futuristic spy film, where these two, like it almost seemed like some kind of like bounty hunters that were after like some kind of a MacGuffin, whatever it was. They show up at a Chinese restaurant, and it was pretty cool. They had a fight scene in it where they shot it by doing like a 360 around, and it came back and it timed out that way. It was pretty neat.
Have you had?
There's a lot of good stuff.
What was your experience on the festival circuit? Have you submitted to a lot of festivals or?
I submitted to a handful. Everything. I mean, this year everything's just so.
Yeah.
You know, I started submitting back in, I guess, back in March, right before the world stopped spinning, and pretty much every place has just been like pushing it back and pushing it back. I think nobody really knows if they're going to have a festival, I think, or whether or not they're going to have it next year. Or I think everybody's kind of trying to figure stuff out. Pretty much. It's just a matter of when do you want to go virtual.
Like the only one is Puff like one of the few that picked like that you've gotten your film into, or
yeah, I mean, every place is just kind of pushing their acceptance deadlines. Nobody's really making nobody's deciding what they want to do yet. There was a lot of ones where it was like, I submitted to a bunch of them in March, and then once everything started getting just pushed and pushed, I was like, all right, I'm just going to hold off for now and see what happens. And at first they'd have like their acceptance deadlines be like July. And because they were originally going to have their festivals in like September, October, something like that.
Yeah.
And then they bumped it to August 1st, we'll let you know. And then that got bumped to September. And now it's funny, I actually just looked before, and most of the other ones that I submitted to are all like, we'll let you know in February. It's like, all right, I'll see you in February.
Is this your first film, or?
No, I've been making short films. Like I said, with Robbie and James, the three of us have been making films for a little over a decade now. This was my biggest film. Usually, most of the time, and when I say those guys are game for doing whatever, they're typically game for doing whatever, because I don't ask anybody else, and I just have those two do ridiculous things together. But this was the first time where I had a lot more people involved, like I typically just shoot wherever I kind of can. This was the first one where I had to like work out renting a venue and stuff like that. So it was a little bit of a bigger production, at least for me, having, a dozen people there.
And do you have anything, are you working on anything right now, or have any plans for future projects?
Yeah, I mean, probably like everybody, I have my list of 1,000 ideas and 5 pages of a half dozen scripts. I was hoping this year to like take on try to do a feature. That was the goal going into the year, and it's like, all right, maybe I can put something together and shoot it around this time. Obviously, then 2020 took shape, and everything kind of got, throw your plans away. And the first half of the pandemic, I spent stressing about, man, I need to be productive during this. I need to be working on something. I should be writing something. I should be, like everybody, I think, kind of was having that period of time. But then you're wondering getting motivated to do something kind of becomes odd. But now, yeah, I am going to try to do a feature, probably in the spring.
You want to tell us a little about the feature before we go, or?
Well, where it stands right now, it's from, if I commit to this idea, it's a zombie movie, because everybody makes zombie movies, but why can't I make one?
Sure.
It's a zombie movie about a disabled girl who's in a wheelchair, and her boyfriend ends up getting infected, and she has to kind of survive and kind of get out of the city and get to her friends, and it goes from there.
That sounds great.
Yeah, sounds fun. What about, like, how are you raising the funds for your feature?
I am.
Me, or?
I'm a fan of like the ideas of Kickstarters and Indiegogos and stuff like that, and I kind of always want to try to see if I can succeed doing a Kickstarter. So I'm gonna take a stab at that, but I'm really aiming for like I usually just think about things in terms of what I can actually pull off. So like, this isn't going to be a big production. I'm thinking that if I can keep the budget for like $2,000 or less, I could probably just swing it on my own. And if I can find a way to make $5,000 off of it, then I'll use that to make another one. And then
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah.
like that.
Well, make sure, if you do pull it off next year, make sure you submit it to Puff.
Yeah.
We're always really, we don't really ever have a lot of local features. I don't think we really actually had anything that's like technically local. Stuff that that was shot in like New Jersey that we claimed was local, but
Hey.
but so maybe you could be the first real local feature.
I'd definitely love to, and maybe that's all the motivation I need to actually follow through.
Yep.
Once you say it, if you don't do it, then it's an embarrassment.
Yeah, well, now everyone's heard you say it, so now you have to do it.
Yeah, I'm stuck.
Matt.
Yes.
You want to wrap it up?
All right. So we're going to wrap up now. In 10 minutes, we're going to start our horror block here at PUFFOnline. Ron, it was so fantastic talking to you. Congratulations on the film, and just all the best for the future and the feature that we really hope that you'll submit to us when it's ready.
Fingers crossed. Thanks, guys. It's been a blast.
Thanks for sticking with us through the chaos too.
Hey, everybody's going through. I think everyone's patience is pretty much in full swing on everything now. So, and you guys have some great movies. I've loved everything I've watched so far. So,
thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Congrats, guys.
All right. Good night.
Thank you, Ron. Good night.
Take it easy.